Alright, so this guide will be covering everything that you have to do to obtain your true mode, true Bankai Sclaveri Resurrection inside of Type Soul. Now, every single part of this video is going to be important, so there will be timestamps at the bottom for each phase of hell that you actually have to go through. And I also recommend that you keep in mind this is Type Soul, so the game will be extremely buggy, but I don't want to make this video super long, so I'm just going to start talking. So initially, to even get to hell, you have to be elite grade and you have to have one of your full modes unlocked. If you're a Soul Reaper, this is going to be your Bankai. If you're an Arankar, this is going to be your Resurrection. And if you're a Quincy, this is going to be your Sclaveri, or your Vault Standing, my bad. So you have to do that, and then you actually have to go to Katakura Town. Once you're in Katakura Town, you have to press comma, which is right next to M on your keyboard, and you want to look for somebody called Class J Ward. Now, you can also just go to the basketball court or near the trading NPC and kind of head behind them there to actually find this gate where Cass J Ward is actually going to be standing in front of. Now, after that, all you have to do is just click the top dialogue and start talking to him, and you'll actually be teleported to the highway. So once again, you want to press comma and you want to look for an NPC called Fearless. Now, you do want to walk over to Fearless. It's honestly complete RNG on where he's going to spawn, but you simply just want to walk over to him, talk to him, and he'll actually give you a quest. Now, this quest is going to be to discover 4 crystals for him, or just find 4 crystals for him. Now, finding the crystals is honestly pretty easy. There's also going to be this NPC with an eye that's just constantly going around the map itself. Now, do not get seen by this NPC. It's honestly very buggy for the first time when I was doing it, and I was kind of like right in front of it and it still didn't do anything to me. But just to be safe, do not look in front of this NPC. If you see it coming, just kind of get on the walls and do not damage it as well, or try to. But for this first quest, you just want to find 4 crystals. You kind of walk around the map and an indicator will actually pop up on your screen showing when you're near crystals or not, and you can also just look and see where the crystals are yourself. Once you find 4, you actually want to go to Fearless again. And another thing to note is when you have like these 2 eyes popping up on top of your screen, just turn around and they'll actually come off. I guess it's like an indicator that something's behind you in some weird type of way. But yeah, once you find the 4 crystals, you do want to go back to Felice. Now, after you're done talking to him from finding the crystals, once you go back to him, he'll give you a hide and seek quest. Now, you only have 2 minutes to find out where he is, and he will randomly spawn around the map. So this one, you just want to explore the map until you find him. So then for this one, you just want to kind of explore the map until you randomly find him. And after that, you click and talk to him, and he'll actually say that a gate has opened up for you. Now, you also just want to kind of explore the map and find out where the gate is. You can follow exactly where I went. It's kind of like through this cave, and then there's just like this huge white opening. You kind of see it. You can also just look at what I'm doing on the screen and follow that. But following this, now you're going to actually kind of be on the highway itself. This was just the first part. Now, once you're on this highway, you will actually have to fight a boss. For this boss, you can pop your true mode if it's needed, or you can also just beat it. The boss honestly isn't even that hard. Now, I did end up popping my mode for it, but you can beat it without popping your mode as well. But I would just suggest that you either have your mode bar ready before you actually enter hell, or you just simply beat the boss with like keto, which is what I would suggest that you actually are using. The boss is pretty easy. Only thing that I would complain about for this boss is that the Cero is actually invisible when I was fighting it. I'm not sure if this is due to a bug, but it's just the weakened Gate Guardian. If you're on like speed or kendo, it could be a little bit annoying and you will definitely have to pop your mode. But if you're on keto going into hell, which is honestly the tree that I recommend every single race goes on, then this would be super easy. But yeah, it's just the weakened Gate Guardian. Once you actually beat this boss, you will end up going on to the second layer of hell. Now, for my clip, you'll actually see that I died to the boss, but I also beat it at the same time. And I guess this is a good thing to say, but as long as you actually have Fragment 1 and the Hell Ring key, you'll be able to go into the next floor, even if you somehow end up dying on the weakened highway boss. But this is just the requirements for part 1 of hell, which is the highway. Now, moving on to the next part of hell, this is going to probably be the longest part for every person that's doing this, because you're going to need to kill 120 NPCs. Now, I honestly do recommend that you constantly use keto for this, because keto is just very good skill tree, and it's actually the most useful for actually grinding anything in hell. But you want to press comma again on your keyboard, and you want to look for an NPC called Tiger Sozose. Now you just have to walk over to this NPC and actually start the quest. And he's basically just going to tell you 120 NPCs kills or 40 raid wins. I'm gonna be honest, do not do 40 raid wins, or don't try to do it. You'll be wasting your time hopping. Well, you can't server hop inside hell, so just don't do it. Now for the NPCs, I'm going to be honest, nobody really does attack you or grip you inside of hell, and even if they do, restoring your lives is very, very easy. So I would just suggest that you don't talk to people, but definitely do just try to farm NPCs and follow after people, making sure that you get your credit and just hitting them with your keto skills. And make sure to always say my bad all after you're done hitting somebody, because you may encounter some people who are inside friend groups, and if you just hit them too much without saying my bad all, they'll end up getting mad at you and just kill you. Now speaking on that, I also want to tell you, to restore your lives inside of hell, you have to kill the Bankai NPCs scattered around the map. Now the Bankai NPCs, these ones actually do not count towards the NPCs that, you know, would actually take down your progress on the quest to kill 120. The only NPCs that count towards this are going to be like the huge rock monsters, the Ridley NPCs, which is like the purple dragons, and that's literally it. So you just have to walk around constantly and kill 120 of these NPCs. And I also still recommend that you just like kill the Bankai NPCs when you see them, because it doesn't hurt, and they're also very, very squishy, but just do be careful. Now once you finish your 120 NPCs quest, what you want to do is, I would say, just to be safe, go back up and talk to Tiger Sozose again. And then after that, what you're going to want to do is to actually head over to the NPC called the One. Now for this one NPC fight, this is honestly where I recommend that you, if you are trying to do this completely alone, I'm going to tell you, you're most likely not going to make it down. I'm honestly just being completely honest with you. The bosses inside this game are not tested by anybody to actually fight them 1 versus 1. Every boss in this game is most likely designed with the intention of you fighting it as a group, because this one NPC boss is just complete. It's honestly ridiculous. So I'll actually tell you about the method that I did. Now this is just going to be the knocked method. So you're gonna need at least 2 people to do this, and one person who's willing to let you basically not let them get progress for this boss. Now for the knock method, you simply want to just follow what I'm doing on screen, but I'll also explain it. You want to knock the person who's not going to be getting progression for this boss, and you, the person who is going to be progression, wants to carry them on your shoulder. Make sure that you two also are inside a party. So what you want to do is to start the dialogue with the one boss, and then you also want to type my bad all to get the person on your shoulder out of combat. So I would suggest that you type my bad all, then you talk to the one boss, and the second that you enter the dialogue and get into the boss fight, drop the person on your shoulder. Now once you drop them, you're simply just going to want to make sure that you do not aggro the boss, and the person who was knocked on your shoulder does all of the damage to the boss and basically just fight it. You yourself do not actually hit the boss or do anything towards it. This kind of just bugs the boss and puts it in like this state where it's just going to constantly use skills, but it's not going to aggro onto anybody, and it's not going to aggro onto the person that was knocked on your shoulder, because they're not like real to the boss. Now I also want to state that this method is what you're going to have to be using basically for every single boss for this type of hell game mode. You can see that it's honestly not super fun, because you have to resort to cheesy methods to beat these bosses. It's just kind of ridiculous because it wasn't designed in a way for you to actually beat it solo if you wanted to. So it's very unfortunate, but you will need somebody else here to kind of do this with you. And from the clip, you can actually see that while my friend was doing it, the boss is still going to be using skills and attacking randomly. But I myself, the person who's actually going to be getting the progression, they're kind of just sitting on the sidelines and watching. You don't have to do any damage for it to proc, and then you'll actually see at the end that it will teleport you to the second layer. Now you are inside Hell Ring 2. An important thing to note off the start is that do not leave while you are in combat inside Hell Ring 2. You can main menu, but do not go to Wandenrich, Salt Society, Huecomundo. Do not go to any other town when you're inside Hell Ring 2, or you will have to fight the Hell Ring 1 boss over again. I ended up doing one of those things, and I did have to fight the boss over again, so I just want to make it like a very important notice for you to not do it. Now once you're inside Hell Ring 2, what you want to do is to kind of just walk down the straight path and just fight the Crow boss. There's not really any cheese for this. You don't need a cheese for this. The Crow boss is very easy. You'll see me running by it inside the footage, and this is simply because this is my second time having to fight the Crow boss, And if you already beat it the first time, once you get the book fragment number 3, you don't have to fight the crow boss again. So you kind of just want to beat that crow boss, and then you want to follow this pathway all the way up to basically the Hell Ring 2 boss. Now, it is kind of like a long path, and there will be jumps between it where there's a void. So just make sure that you don't get caught in between those, because if you die, you will have to basically run past or fight the crow boss again to get back up to this NPC. So then once you're up here, you want to simply do the knock method again. Like I said, if you're doing this inside a party of 3, you have the 2 people who are going to get their progression inside the party, and you have the person who's not going to get the progression outside the party. You just carry them in there, you say my bad all, you drop them, and then they basically just win the boss. So the knock method is what you're going to have to be doing for every single boss inside of this. But once you actually beat the hell boss for ring 2, this is when you want to actually press comma again, and now you want to start heading towards an NPC called Blair. Now this is where you're actually going to end up getting your true Shikai, true partial, true Schrift, whatever you want. And this simply just makes it so that the color of your Shikai Schrift changes. I'm not sure if it does like any damage buffs, but there is a noticeable visual change, and this is going to be based off of your eye color. So I ended up getting white shadow, but I also do want to note that as long as you see a text on your screen where it's like this power has awakened, or as long as you also get the badge for it, you don't need to go inside the cutscene for like the MUI animation. Following that, you are now inside Hell Ring 3. So initially when you spawn in, there's going to be a lot of crows around you. Now what you want to do is to just press comma again, and then you want to run towards the NPC called Yin. Now once you're running towards Yin, this kind of is like a sign to just kind of keep on going straight and just stay to like the right side kind of. And also just look for like the gigantic whirlpool. You'll see it because you'll see like blue particles coming off the ground. Or you can just follow my path inside the video. Now this is going to be like a tornado that you actually do have to jump through. Now for this boss is going to follow the exact same method, but I do want to note that to get through this blue portal, you're going to have to basically like walk forward while you're jumping through it, because it is very, very buggy. Now for the ring 3 boss, this method is actually going to be kind of a lot more, I'm not going to say difficult, but there's like 2 methods that you can do for this. You can do the knock method that I've just been suggesting this whole entire time, or you can do the method that I did and try and see if it'll work for you. But I would honestly suggest to just do the same knock method from before. You'll honestly have to just like kind of find somebody who's willing to help you do it. I tried to do a different method where it's kind of like the knock method, but you're all still inside the party. And this method essentially just bugs you. Like at the end of it, you just get bugged and you cannot run. So I still had to end up doing it with a whole different set of people. So I would just suggest to just constantly do the knock method for these bosses, because you're probably not going to beat it regularly. You can try if you have 3 competent people, but just keep in mind that these bosses do pop vault standing when they're around halfway through their life. which means you'll have to fight the boss again, which is honestly just very, very annoying. Now following that, you are on the maze part of hell. So for the maze part, this one is honestly very tricky. There's not really like a set, well, there is a set path, but I kind of was just walking through inside my video. I just suggest that you kind of hug the right side of the wall once you find like a Soul Reaper NPC, or not like a Soul Reaper NPC, but like an NPC that kind of looked like Felice, where it's just like a devil kind of thing. I wish I could tell you like an exact way, but honestly, you just want to look for these green gates. You can follow what I was doing inside the video, but once I seen like this devilish looking NPC, I kind of hugged the right side and just ended up finding the gate eventually. And I also do want to keep in mind, like the giant lady that's inside the middle of your screen, when her eyes open up, do not move. If you move while this is happening, you'll actually be taking damage, and you don't want to take damage because you'll end up dying. So following all of that, once you actually get through the maze and you end up getting here to like this library, this is going to be the second to last stage for hell, and this is also very easy and simple. So you can just follow exactly what I'm doing, or I'll also just read it out for you, but you want to basically answer all these books. Now for the books, it's honestly very simple. Kind of just follow the pattern that I'm going through inside this video. You just want to click on the books, then after that you want to click on the text dialogue and just follow what I'm doing. Once you read the book that says Faith in Myself, basically click the dialogue I believe in my fist. When you get to the book that says Power Unmatched, you want to click on the dialogue that says My Power is Absolute. When you click on the book that says Story of the King, you want to click on the dialogue that says I Worship the King. When you click on the book that says One with the Blade, you want to click on the dialogue that says The Blade is with me. And then the last book is kind of self-explanatory. It's actually the only dialogue that's left. So another thing to note for these books is that you actually do want to click on them every single time that you're done. You can honestly just click on them. You just have to make sure that the book is kind of pushed into the tombstone after or before, and then you want to put the dialogue in. What I did is I entered the text and then I actually just clicked on the book to kind of push into the tombstone. But you can also do it reverse, where you click on the book and then you just press E and actually put the text in. If you don't do it, all you have to do is just go back and you can kind of just read the title of the book and tie it to the text. It's very simple and very easy. Now, following this, if you actually end up doing it the right way, you get this dialogue on your screen that says the fragments join the books again in their rightful place. The atmosphere of the library changes. This place now feels like home. Library gate skill added. Your soul feels strengthened, and all that's left is to wait 24 hours to 25 instead of type soul. So following the book part, you are now actually on the worst part of this progression for type soul, besides guarding the 120 NPCs, and this is going to be where you have to wait inside of layer 1 for 20 to 30 hours, somewhere inside that range. I'll honestly say it's 5 to 30 hours. There is a lot of people that like crafting theories to see if there's a way to get your timer reduced. I honestly just think and believe that the timer is completely random for anybody inside of this entire waiting room. So I'll just base this off of me. So basing it off of me, To be honest, to get me my Bankai, I had to AFK inside ring 1 of hell for around 16 hours, I would say, for me specifically. Now, I didn't do anything but AFK inside of hell. I didn't kill no mobs, I didn't kill no NPCs. All I did was just simply go AFK, and while I was sitting on my computer, I heard a sound inside my ear that sounded like I got an item. I look at my screen and the screen says, "One last thing, figure it out." Now, this one is just complete RNG, but you do have to be inside hell ring 1. Another thing I want to note is that while you are here, do not fight the ring 1 boss again. The one NPC, if you fight that boss again while you're waiting for your true Bankai, you are simply going to just lose it, and you're gonna have to restart your progress all over again to basically get it. So don't fight that boss. Now, once you do get your true Bankai, to simply pop it, all you have to do is to literally just get knocked. And then once you're knocked, it'll automatically just pop your Bankai. And then you just press Control J again, and you actually end up popping your true Bankai. Now, my true Bankai is Shadow. I honestly think it's one of the coolest ones ever. It's not anything that's like, you know, supremely broken like Miracle, Flower, or even Death Dealing. But that's my true Bankai, and I kind of love it. So hopefully this video did help you. There were timestamps for every single part. Please feel free to like and subscribe for this video, because I did put an effort to actually like show my authentic raw gameplay of everything I've done from start to finish. And it took me a while, around 3 days to 4, to completely get this. I'm never doing it again, never doing it again. So thank you for watching this video. If it did help you, like I said, please feel free to subscribe and like. And also, if you have any questions, do that as well, because I'll be answering any questions related towards this. So outside of that, thanks for watching, and hopefully you have a nice day.